As Story County's population continues to grow, we are always thinking about ways to preserve our natural resources while providing reliable energy. How can we reduce our dependence upon fossil fuels while creating clean, renewable electricity? How can we recycle more and stop using valuable land to bury trash? When you take out the trash, do you care where it goes? When you use electricity, do you care where it comes from? If you're like us, you do. That's why all of us at the Resource Recovery Plant are working to create safe, sensible waste disposal programs that bring communities a reliable supply of clean, affordable energy. Every year, the Resource Recovery Plant's facilities safely process waste while producing refuse-derived fuel for the power plant. Have you ever wondered what happens after you reduce, reuse, and recycle in your own home or office? After you leave your trash and recyclables at the curb or at the recycling center, what happens next? Well, that's exactly where the Resource Recovery Plant comes in. From its beginnings in the early 1970s, the waste-to-energy industry has developed state-of-the-art technology, making it one of the cleanest forms of electricity generation. The Arnold O. Chantland Resource Recovery Plant was the first municipally operated waste-to-energy facility in the nation, built in 1975. At facilities like ours, you will find the technology that separates a modern resource recovery facility from incinerators of the past. Trash from Ames and the surrounding communities in Story County is brought here by waste haulers and residents. Upon arrival, the Resource Recovery Plant recovers reusable metals and refuse. Metals are extracted using powerful magnets and sold to scrap dealers for recycling. The rest of the waste is shredded by machines and falls into two categories. The non-burnable material is sent to a landfill. Since it is shredded, it takes up much less volume in the landfill than it would if it were buried whole. We believe it is better to generate electricity with our waste than to bury it in a landfill. Through this process, more than 80 acres of Iowa farmland have been saved from becoming a landfill. In addition, more than 4,600 homes are provided electricity each year. The burnable portion of the garbage becomes refuse-derived fuel, or RDF, which is piped to the city's power plant. It is used as a renewable supplemental fuel in the natural gas boilers to generate electricity. RDF is blown into the boilers where the combustion process takes place. Water is heated in metal tubes that form the walls of the boiler, where it is then turned to steam and sent through a turbine, continuously generating electricity. That electricity is sent out to the grid to power homes and businesses. The power plant's distributed control system ensures efficient combustion in the boilers at temperatures over 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit. This is key to the power plant's outstanding record of reduced emissions. The electrostatic precipitator removes particles in the flue gas, while a computer system continuously monitors the flue gases for environmental compliance. You may be wondering how our operation differs from a landfill. And why does it matter if your trash goes to a landfill if you recycle anyway? Even if you have a world-class recycling program, your town's businesses and citizens will still produce a lot of trash, and that has to be disposed of. So the question is, what are you going to do with all the trash that remains after recycling? You basically have two options: a modern energy from waste facility or a landfill. The average person, even after recycling, produces nearly 1 ton of waste every single year. Now multiply that by the number of people in your community and you have a lot of trash. At Resource Recovery, we're dedicated to providing answers to the big question of what do we do with the unrecycled waste that Story County produces each year. A single individual's trash by itself would add up to more than 1 cubic yard of space, and most of America's waste is sent to landfills, about 250 million tons per year in the U.S. alone, and that takes a lot of land. But if, on the other hand, instead of burying that waste, everybody decided to process it in an energy from waste facility, we could create enough renewable energy to completely eliminate the use of oil or electric power in the U.S. Recycling is always the preferred first step for managing waste. In fact, at Resource Recovery, we recover and recycle more than 2,000 tons of metal every year. But not all waste can be recycled. And after recycling, you can either bury the waste in a landfill or you can use our advanced process to turn that trash into clean, reliable, economical, and renewable electricity. Many of the countries that lead the world in recycling also recognize that waste is a valuable resource that can be turned into renewable energy and added directly to the electricity grid. And many of those countries have also recognized greenhouse gases as the leading cause of climate change. Did you know that when greenhouse gases are released into the Earth's atmosphere, they trap infrared radiation from sunlight, and that's what leads to the increase in the average temperature of the Earth? When garbage decomposes in landfills, it produces huge quantities of methane. and methane makes up almost 20% of the greenhouse gases that cause global warming. Some landfills now capture a portion of methane and use it to make electricity. We think there's a far better approach. Eliminate the methane entirely by replacing the landfill with a modern energy from waste facility which generates no methane emissions at all and is 5 times more efficient at producing electricity. It's estimated for every 1 ton of waste we convert into electricity, we also reduce 1 ton of CO2 emissions. At Resource Recovery, we say energy from waste is a triple whammy: less dependence on fossil fuel, fewer landfills, and lower greenhouse gas emissions. Here at the City of Ames, we are committed to renewable sources of energy generation like wind and solar power. We have wind power in our portfolio and offer photovoltaic rebates for solar power options. And while those are excellent sources of renewable energy, we're going to need all the alternatives to fossil fuel we can get. But in each of those examples, you can only create electricity under specific conditions. On the other hand, trash happens 24/7, making energy from waste the most continuously reliable source of renewable electricity. Currently, 8% of the United States' electricity comes from hydro, while all the other renewable sources combined make up only about 2%. At Resource Recovery, we are committed to reduce, reuse, and recycle for a cleaner world. If you have any questions about waste disposal, call the plant at 515-239-5137 or visit us online at cityofames.org/smarttrash.